Okay, so I'm talking about Lovecraft Country Episode 10, and I'm switching back to the headset because my mic is just a little weird, and I have to hold it like right here, and so yeah, switching to this fan. PC is upgraded, so my fans aren't loud as hell, so should be okay. But yeah, Lovecraft Country Episode 10, season finale or series finale, who knows, one of those. But this should have been two parts, and myself and everyone else I know who watches this show, which isn't a lot, um, says the same thing where they should have stopped making episodes where it was about each character. You could have definitely trimmed a lot of that off, and so because now it feels like the ending is just rushed, and I was like, okay. And there's a lot of predictable scenes in this where I was like, this is what's gonna happen. There's one thing where I was like, huh? You know what? I'm just gonna spoilers. Not even holding it back. So the whole thing is going to the eternal autumn equinox, and they got this whole plan going, which requires a piece of Titus and a piece of Christina Braithwaite with Atticus. So they quickly summon Titus, fucking kill him, and take a piece of his skin. Where I was like, is that really it? Like, you're telling me the all powerful, like, oh, Titus, like the guy that they keep mentioning, is just stabbed and gone. I was like, oh, okay, well that's weird, but all right. It's like it felt like they were just rushing it. I was like, okay, sure. And of course, it felt like the closing end reminded me of kind of in a sense of Doctor Who when David Tennant on his last episode how he's saying goodbye to every single person. It reminded me of that where it's like closure, closure, closure. I was like, okay, I get it. And so the whole plan is for them to get Ruby, Letitia's sister, to get a blood vial of from Christina and that'll be her sample. But of course, I was like, either the sister is going to turn on them, or it's going to not be the right blood. And I was kind of right in between both. And also, that's another thing. The sister Ruby, her character arc makes no sense. How are you going to build this character to be like a hard ass, like, oh, I hate white people. Ah, F white people. And then she's with the most evil white person, and everyone knows it. She knows it too. And she's still like, don't talk about her that way. Like, nah, like, she cares about me. I'm like, she literally told you she doesn't care about Emmett Till's death or anything about black people. And yeah, okay, she reenacted the death of Emmett Till so she could be like, "Oh, I feel what it's like," but I'm like, she doesn't care. And so then for just the whole time when I see her sister, I'm like, your character is poorly written. What are you even doing? Like, it's so dumb. Like, it should have just been done better. But ultimately, of course, you know, Atticus walks up and gets tied down for the eternal equinox, and then they're like, "Hey, gotcha." It was Ruby got put in a coma, and Christina pretended to be her and used fake blood. So then she gets in a fight with Letitia, throws Letitia off, and kills her. Oh, that's another thing in this episode. She took off the mark of Cain or whatever, and I was like, okay. But then I assume there's something that happens with their ancestors where they're like, oh, I gotta show you something. It cuts away because Letitia gets thrown out a window, and then the mark of Cain shows up. So I was like, okay, so you learn how to do it to yourself, I assume, right? They fix Dee, the niece. They fix her, except for her arm is still looking like a beef jerky raisin or whatever the hell it is. Um, and of course, I like that arc where the mom is like, "Oh, you can be mad at me," and she's like, "Bruh, you left me, like, and I got haunted by these things." And of course, the mom is like, "Oh, I went to a million worlds and universes, whatever." And then she tells her like, "I got something to show you," and you hear, and the subtitles say "machines wiring." I was like, they're gonna build her a robot arm, aren't they? And then from there on out until the very last scene, they angle it where you can't see her arm, and I was like, Bro, I know she has a robot arm, okay? Stop trying to act like you're hiding it from me. And of course, at the very end, the last shot, she has a robot arm, and I was like, okay. But going back to the main story, it's just like Atticus is dead. I mean, he's dead, but he wrote a note to his dad. So I'm like, did you assume your plan wasn't going to work, or you knew it wasn't going to work? Which one? But I was like, that's odd. And of course, they kill Christina. Well, the biggest, and I know this is all over the place, but there's so much to comprehend. It's the big like huzzah, the big can't even explain it. The spell that the ancestors were working on, the big ooh gotcha, is that white people can now no longer cast magic, but black people can. And I was like, really? That's the ultimate spell? Are you serious? And like I said, I know that there are episodes of the show where I'm like, I get, like I've said, I'm like, I get it, dude. I get it. Okay? White people bad. I get it. But in this episode, it's like, that's the ultimate spell? Really? Okay, so A, you're just assuming that all white people are bad. But B, you're assuming that all black people are going to be a hero with magic, which is stupid because everyone of every race, whatever, has bad people. So for you to be like, none of them can, it's like, what? I thought it was going to be completely destroys magic. Like, nope, gone. But then I was like, she was like, you know, F you. We got the magic now. I was like, okay, sure, whatever. And I was like, that's so dumb. It's just dumb, you know? Or at least make it where only your family can cast magic, something. I was like, you really gotta play it down like that, really? Like, I get it, alright? Showmakers, I get it. But, and then the ending shot is the niece, Dee, going up to Christina, choking her out so hard with her robot arm that it bursts her neck. And then her mole rat warlock thing howls. Which, two things. The warlock monster thing, the effects look incredible. Like I've said before, they do a good job with the monster effects, better than some of the other things. Because the last episode, when they were in a part of the city, I was like, this is the most horrible green screen I've ever seen. But and then number two, they go back to Artem, which we've seen in episode 2, that the woods are surrounded by those damn warlock mole rat things. They leave the niece in a car there, knowing that. And then she gets attacked. And so I was like, because honestly, at first I was kind of like, wait a minute, what? But then my girlfriend is one of them who's like, aren't there those creatures in the woods? I was like, wait a minute, why did they leave her there then? Like, what? And then at the end, after they defeat Christina or whatever, they just leave. And then you see the niece like randomly by herself. So I'm like, did they leave her there? Are they stupid? Like, what the hell? But yeah, and then it's just ominous. Like she chokes her out, breaks her throat, and then looks at the creature howling. And I'm like, are they setting up like she's a bad guy or what? Like, huh? There's just it's pretty closed ended. That's why I'm like, is this just a one and done? So I don't know. Overall, okay. Overall, this series is pretty good. It's just I was expecting, mind you, I've never read the book. You know, I'm not going to be like, it's not like the book or blah, 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 the book. I'm viewing it as a TV show because that's what it is, a TV show. I don't give a shit what it's based off of. I'm viewing it as the TV show. I thought it was going to be about Cthulhu or Cult of Cthulhu, Dunwich horror, stuff like that. You know, the whole cosmic. I mean, because there you go, cosmic time travel stuff. So I'm like, aliens, Cthulhu, tentacles, fog. I don't know, an island, cults. You know, scary things like that. I thought it would be like they find the time machine and it's basically it's the main story, but they basically have to go through like different time periods or different universes and deal with different things of like H.P. Lovecraft's books, stuff like that, futuristic but alien or supernatural in this time period, and then it's like all gathering to the end, something like that. I was like, man, this is honestly kind of boring. I love the last episode, episode 9. I loved it because it was all time travel and stuff. I was like, I love it. But besides that, like it's okay. Like I don't know. I would rate it uh hmm, you know, not an oof, not a oh wow, just there. So yeah, God, I didn't mean. I just feel like I had to get that out of the way because I was. It just frustrates me. There's so much potential. So we'll see if there's a season 2 or whatever's going on. But until then, thanks for watching. I'm out.